Hi guys, welcome back to Eliza's Bookshelf, or welcome if you're new. I'm Eliza, and today I want to go over the books that I read during the Thrill-til-halloween Readathon hosted by Lena, Liv, and Jacqueline. I'll link their channels down below, but it was so fun. It's like a short readathon on the weekend for Halloween, and they chose a book to read all together, and the other prompt was Escape from Evil. They also did a movie buddy watch, which I unfortunately missed out on because I forgot that it was on Friday. What else? And then the fourth thing was their escape room. They basically live streamed a game that they played online, an escape room virtually. So I thought that was so cool. I think I will try to do one of those things with my friends in the future, but yes. I read 2 books for this readathon. I tried to squeeze another one in, but I couldn't. Anyway, so I read The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead, and I also finished My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. So, My Best Friend's Exorcism. Honestly, the first half or the first 3/4 of this book, I was a little bit bored, but you know, when things started happening, I was like, oh shit, this is pretty good. And when it wrapped up in the end, I was like, oh my gosh. So this basically is just about 2 best friends who would do anything for each other. Oh my gosh, it pulled at my heartstrings. And I texted my best friend right away. I was like, have you read this book? It reminds me of you. She was like, am I the one getting exercised? I was like, no. That's not why it reminds me of you. So yeah. So this is so sweet. If you guys just have like one best friend in your life that you would do anything for, no matter, you know, if you have a falling out or if you haven't talked in months and months, but you always come together and it's still like, you know, ordinary times, I think this will spark something in you. But basically you have 2 best friends, right? Gretchen and Abby. And it starts out early on, years ago, how they first met. I believe it was in like 5th grade or something. Abby was holding this birthday party at the skating rink, and another popular person was holding a birthday party in the same day with like horse rides and stuff like that. So of course everyone, even though Abby sent out her birthday party invitation first, everyone is going to this other popular girl's birthday party, right? Except for Gretchen. And, you know, later on, she's like, obviously, I went to your party because you sent out the invites first. And Abby's like, see? Of course, see? But anyway, so that's how their friendship formed. And throughout the years, they have like bumps, ups and downs, arguments and stuff like that. But now we're in sophomore year or junior year of high school. And after a party at the lake or something like that, I forgot where they were exactly. But after a weekend party at the lake, Gretchen starts acting weird. And at first they thought it was because of the drugs that they did, but no, she was acting very strange. She's very pale, she looks sickly, she's like throwing up feathers, I don't know. And then all of a sudden she's looking great again. So yes, My Best Friend's Exorcism, as you can tell, she's like possessed by a demon, and so they're trying to figure out how to save her. But you know, one by one, because of the way Gretchen is behaving, she's like losing friends left and right? And so Abby is the only one left, and she gets pushed to the brink too. She's almost like, I quit, I give up on you, you are horrible. But you know, she keeps at it and she keeps trying to save Gretchen, and oh my god, it's so sweet. Some crazy things happen in here, so be prepared. I was not prepared for this one scene. I was like, oh my gosh. Once I read that, I was thinking, I hate this book, I need to put it down. But just make it to the end, and it's just so sweet. So yes, I really like this one. You know, in the beginning, I was wondering, am I going to DNF this book? And that's part of the reason why it's so hard for me to DNF books, because what if at the end I actually really like it? And so that is one of the examples here. I pushed through to the end and I actually ended up really liking this, just because of how it started off. I'm giving this like a 4-star, but I really liked how this ended. And maybe I'll read more of Grady Hendrix's books in the future. I've read this one, I've read The Final Girl Support Group, and I thought that one was okay. I like this one better, but maybe I'll try more of his or her books. I don't even know. His books. All right, and the other book that I read is The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead, I believe. So The Last Housewife, I actually went into this book not really knowing exactly what it was about. I remember it getting a lot of buzz on Bookstagram and seeing it everywhere, and I was like, all right, whatever. Not too interested, but they chose this book for the readathon, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll just pick it up and read it. And so I didn't refresh myself on the synopsis before I went in, so I was reading it, I was like, oh, murder mystery. And then I read more, I was like, I don't know if this is just a murder mystery. So it's kind of wild, and it can be a little bit disturbing and uncomfortable to read, so bear that in mind. We have Shay Evans, who She went to college with this other group of girls, right? But then years later, her life now, she's like, you know, normal person. She is a wife to this really rich guy. She is trying to write a book, and I don't know, she wrote a couple of articles for this Slice journal or something like that, right? She's a writer. Anyway, so she hears on this podcast run by one of her old friends that she does not talk to anymore. I think it was a high school friend. Anyway, so she hears on this podcast this guy talking about another suicide. And the woman who committed suicide is actually one of her friends from college. And so back then, her small group of friends, right? One of her friends already committed suicide. Now there's a second one. She's like, this is not a coincidence. This is very weird. I think maybe someone murdered them instead. And so she contacts, did she contact? Yeah, she does contact this podcaster who is her old friend anyways. And he's like, oh, thank God you actually reached out to me. So yes, they're trying to figure out what exactly happened to these women. I don't want to say too much outside of that because I did like that I went into it blindly and I was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of crazy. But maybe look up some trigger warnings if you want to go into it. It's definitely not a light read. It makes you think, or at least it makes me think about how society makes women act a certain way. Like, oh, you should be happy, you should be forgiving, you should behave, you shouldn't act out. It's kind of like Constance Wu's making a scene. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to make a scene because things are not right. But, you know, it just delves into those sort of things. And there's a big society that is trying to put women in its place. So yes, I don't want to say too much more about that. Just know that it is a very intriguing read. It can be disturbing. It can be hard at some points. I overall did enjoy it. I think I gave it a 4 stars, but it's not my typical read. So those are the 2 books that I read during the Thrill-til-halloween readathon. I, again, will link the hosts down below. Go ahead and check them out whenever you have time. All right, well, thank you so much for watching again. I will see you guys next time. Bye.